Hey y'all, welcome back to the NC Beauty Brand channel where we talk all things skincare, self-care, and self-confidence. So if you are new to my channel, my name is Megan. I am the owner and founder of NC Beauty Brand. NC Beauty Brand is a self-care brand that equips and empowers women to start their journey to self-care. So I usually come out and do videos, but today I wanted to do something a little bit different. I was tired of trying to, get myself all cute and stuff for you guys. So thought I'd try out the podcast option. I figured that this option is a little bit better so that way I can produce some more content and just keep pumping them out so I can provide value to you guys. So today we're going to talk a little bit about self-confidence. So I know, I share on my platform, I share a lot about, self-care and kind of digging in a little bit deeper into self-care, not just the activities behind self-care, such as washing your face, taking a hot bubble bath, but kind of dealing with the deeper internal healing is what I tend to focus on. But today I want to talk a little bit about self-confidence. So self-confidence is, something that a lot of us, I don't know if you will admit it or not, we struggle with this. I know I've struggled with self-confidence and low self-esteem pretty much all my life. And a lot of it stemmed from just me thinking that I was never enough and, trying to prove myself to people or whatnot. And so I struggled with kind of my self image and how I looked and just feeling confident within myself. And so I had to go on a whole self-love, self-discovery journey and falling in love with myself. And it takes time. I'm still not 100% there. There's still some areas that I feel like I need to work on, but overall I feel like I'm at a better place now. So today I want to talk a little bit about some of the tips and tricks that I've learned about self-confidence and how to kind of build your self-confidence over time. So I'll talk a little bit about kind of what breaks your self-confidence. So for me, a lot of things that were said to me in my past, different situations that has happened to us throughout our lives, someone told us that we weren't pretty or someone told us that we weren't smart enough or whatnot. Sometimes that can shape our self-esteem and our confidence. And so so a lot of the times when we struggle with self-confidence, it has to do with how others viewed us who may have, been called ugly or weren't pretty enough or, weren't smart enough. And that kind of shaped our self-image and self-confidence. And so over time, we felt like we've had to kind of overcompensate ourselves and be somebody just to get approval from others. And so once you reach a certain age and you've been through a lot, you can kind of grow out of it, but some of us don't grow out of it. And so for me, I had to go through a journey of self-discovery and self-love and figuring out who Megan is in order for me to really step into loving who I am and being confident within myself. And trust me, I'm still working on it. It takes time, but it's definitely attainable. And so one of the questions that I had to ask myself was, what does confidence even look like to me? And for me personally, it was, not being afraid to speak up, in meetings. So in my corporate job that I have, I used to host a lot of different work meetings. And sometimes I used to be afraid to speak up on things that I knew. And so, being able to be confident to speak up, being able to make decisions on my own and not really care what anyone else thinks, me feeling good about myself without having to feel like I needed the validation of others, that I could look at myself and say, hey, girl, you cute, and also really mean that and feel that inside. And also too, confidence for me is, not being intimidated by titles. I used to feel, if you were a CEO or a VP of a company and you're talking to me, like I would feel like so like insignificant. And, titles obviously don't matter, but like I used to feel so insignificant. And so I wanted to feel significant. Like I wanted to feel like I was adding value somehow and confident in what I bring to the table. So that was one of the things. And then also, being confident in who I am. I'm naturally outgoing. I have a bubbly personality. I'm just goofy. I like to just be goofy and not serious all the time. And that's part of me, and that's part of who I am. And so just me being able to love who I am, all of me, my strengths and my weaknesses. And so in order for me to do that, the first step was self-acceptance, accepting myself for who I am and loving myself for who I am, my strengths and my weaknesses. Like we all have strengths and weaknesses, and we all have areas that we would like to improve. But in all, we have to love ourselves regardless, right? And one of the things that I did learn about confidence is something that can be developed over time. It's not something that we're born with. So now I'll give you an example. I wanted to build my confidence when I started competing, right? I didn't start off being confident in competing. I was actually very insecure because I felt like I was so skinny. These girls had muscle and I didn't have that, right? But I know that in order to get to the level that I was trying to get to, that I had to build myself over time. And so as I built myself over time, as I set smaller goals and obtained those goals, it helped me to build my confidence. And so, setting goals for yourself, obtaining those goals and reaching those goals will help you to become confident, will help you love yourself too. Cause you're like, dang girl, like like I accomplished this, especially something that you probably didn't really think that you'd be able to accomplish, and you're able to do that. And to look back at that gives you that level of confidence. So confidence can definitely be built over time. And so, yeah. And so some other things that I learned about confidence is, the way that you speak to yourself has a lot to do with confidence as well. So I know I did a video on how to kind of overcome negative self-talk, but having that negative self-talk dialogue kind of go throughout the day and go in your head throughout the day is very detrimental to your overall mental health and confidence in general. So I'll give you an example of that. So I would say last year, just recently, I don't know, I was going through a season in my life where I was just feeling so, I second guessed myself on everything. Now, mind you, I've been in my career for over 10 years. I've led teams, I've trained teams, I've spoke in front of like different people in conferences, but for some reason, I was just really like doubting myself. And so every little thing that I did, I questioned myself, and I had this like negative dialogue that was going in my head. Like, everybody thinks you're stupid. Like, you're so stupid, Megan. Why did you do that? Like, and so I was like self-sabotaging myself because that negative dialogue was like replaying in my head over and over and over again. And the more you meditate on negativity, like it gets into your heart and then it gets into your actions, and then that becomes a part of you, right? And so that's why it's really important to pay attention to what you're thinking, because your thoughts control your life, right? And so during that season of my life, I was so focused on, just this negative dialogue. And so I had to break it. And so in order for me to break it, I was literally saying positive affirmations over and over and over again, like making sure that I'm also reminding myself of the accomplishments that I've had over the years, to kind of combat those negative thought patterns that I was meditating on all day and all night. And so I had to break that, but it was hard to break for a while because I was letting those thoughts kind of linger in my mind. And so, if you suffer from low self-esteem or suffer from having low confidence in yourself, figure out, or sit back and kind of think, what am I thinking? Do I have this negative dialogue about myself? Am I telling myself that I'm stupid? Am I telling myself that I'm ugly? Am I telling myself that I'm fat? That could be the reason why it's hard for you to break it. So if you suffer from, negative self-talk or negative self-dialogue, try to break that. And here's some quick little tips on how to break that. First, positive affirmations. So affirmations are really, really good just because you're speaking positive affirmations to yourself and you're trying to change the programming in your mind, right? So even though you may not believe it yet, right? Speaking it over and over again and training your mind to see the positive in something will help kind of break that thought pattern, right? And so on my channel and on my Instagram, on my business Instagram, I share morning affirmations all the time, right? So one affirmation that I used to say over myself was that I'm great at my job. I'm successful. I even would put scriptures, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. I would say these things over and over and over again. And even though, I may not have believed it or felt that in that moment, by saying it over and over and over again, I eventually broke that bad habit of that negative thought pattern and replaced it with something good. And then as I did that, I was able to see, I am good at my job. I am confident. And so it started to change, it changed my thought patterns and it changed my actions. And then I felt like I was good at my job and I acted like I was good at my job and I didn't second guess myself. So it's like all these different things that happen, but it's just funny how things kind of just start with a thought. And so I know I'm kind of all over the place today, but I'm trying to share some nuggets here because I totally get and understand what it's like to have low self-esteem and suffer from lack of confidence because us women, we all deal with that. And so part of like dealing with mental health and healing yourself emotionally and internally is really changing the dialogue that you have within yourself. And so i'm going to stop there today, and I think I'll start coming on more often now that I have the podcast set up. I'll get on here more often and share a little bit of my nuggets with you guys. But again, this channel is all about skincare, self-care, and self-confidence. My goal is to help equip you ladies to, having your own self-care journey and healing from within. So hopefully this episode helped you today. Leave in the comments, if you struggle with low self-esteem, what are some things that you've learned today? What are some things that you're going to implement into your daily routine? And if this was helpful, leave it in the comments and I'll put more content up there like this. So have a great day and I will catch you later. Bye.